If you're the kind of person that has to buy something wherever you go, it means you have a problem. Have you ever wondered why supermarkets place things such as chocolates, sweets, and drinks near the register? Well, they're put there so that you can view them and be tempted to buy them before you leave. Just like paying for a Netflix subscription simply because you binge watch one show, all of these so-called small things add up to a lot of money. You spend a few bucks here and there because it either looks good, you're hungry, maybe a little tired, and because the price tag isn't going to give anyone a heart attack. But in actuality, this is a bigger problem than you realize. And if not controlled, it could lead you into a financial disaster. The good news is that you can fix it. So below are a couple of things you can do. 1. Learn self-control. If you're lucky, your parents taught you how to do this as a child. If not, remember that the sooner you master the discipline of deferring gratification, the easier it will be to manage your personal money. Although you can buy something on credit the moment you desire it, it's wiser to wait until you've saved up enough money to make the purchase. You have to ask yourself, is it really worth paying interest on a pair of trousers or a box of cereal? A debit card is just as convenient, and it deducts funds from your checking account rather than accruing interest. If you have a habit of putting all your purchases on credit cards, even if you can't pay your account in full at the end of the month, you may still be paying for those products in 10 years. Which is why you have to ask yourself these very important questions. Will I still want to be paying for that TV 2 years later? And do I really need it? Or is it just for showing off? Credit cards are a great tool to have, but with them comes the added responsibility of needing to be financially disciplined, such as paying off the loans on time. If you do, you'll establish a positive credit history and increase the amount you can borrow at a potentially lower interest rate. Some credit cards even have enticing incentives. You just need to make sure that you pay your balance in full when your bill arrives. Also, don't go off collecting as many credit cards as you can. This financial trip is critical for establishing a good credit history. 2. Needs versus wants. Ask yourself, do I need this or do I just desire it? Make sure you ask yourself this question before making any purchases. For example, when you claim your dog simply wants that blue sweater with the fire hydrant on it, this isn't the type of need we're referring to. When dealing with needs and wants, you must ask yourself, is it something you must have in order to live? If you can go without it, go ahead and do so. Otherwise, the purchase will only add to your debt burden. 3. Know where your money goes. After reading a few personal finance books, you'll understand how critical it is to ensure that your spending does not surpass your income. And budgeting is the most effective approach to accomplish this. When you see how much your morning coffee costs over the course of a month, you'll understand that little reasonable changes in your daily expenses can have just as much of an impact on your financial status as a raise. Furthermore, keeping your recurrent monthly expenses as minimal as possible will save you a lot of money in the long run. Even if you can now afford an apartment with all the bells and whistles, choosing something more basic may allow you to buy a condominium or house sooner than you would otherwise be able to. The first step toward making your money work for you is to understand how it works. 4. Start an emergency fund. Pay yourself first is a well-worn adage in personal finance. No matter how much you owe in student loans or credit card debt, and no matter how low your wages appear to be, it's a good idea to set aside some money each month for an emergency fund. Having money set up for emergencies can keep you out of financial difficulties and help you get a better night's sleep. Also, if you develop the practice of saving money and seeing it as non-negotiable monthly expense, you'll soon have more than only emergency funds. You'll have money set aside for retirement, vacations, and even a down payment on a home. It's simple to deposit your money into a traditional savings account, but you'll receive nearly no interest. Instead, you should place your money in a high-interest online savings account, a short-term CD, or a money market account. If you don't, inflation will eat away the value of your money. Ensure that the terms of your savings vehicle allow you to access your funds fast in the event of an emergency. Okay, so I'd like you to do something for me. Pause this video right now, and do me a huge favor by hitting the like button. If you did, you're awesome, and thank you so much for your support. 5. Start saving for retirement. You must plan for your retirement far in advance, just as your parents undoubtedly sent you off to kindergarten with high aspirations of preparing you for success in a world that seemed eternities away. Compounding interest works in such a way that the sooner you start saving, the less principal you'll need to invest to reach the amount you'll need to retire. Why should you start saving for retirement in your 20s? Consider the following scenario. You invest $100 every month in the market, averaging a positive return of 1% per month or 12% per year, compounded monthly over 40 years. Company-sponsored retirement plans are especially appealing since you can contribute pre-tax dollars, and corporations frequently match a portion of your contribution, effectively giving you free money. Individual retirement accounts, IRAs, have higher contribution limits than 401ks, but any employer-sponsored plan that you're privileged enough to even be offered is a step closer to fiscal health. Don't worry if you don't have access to a company plan. Self-employed individuals have a variety of retirement planning options. Others can create their own IRAs, which allow a specified amount of money to be withdrawn from your savings account and directly deposited into your IRA each month. Even if it's only a small amount, it will add up to something useful in the end. 6. Get a grip on taxes. Even before you get your first paycheck, it's critical to understand how income taxes operate. When a company gives you a starting salary, you must be able to determine if that income will provide you with enough money after taxes to satisfy your financial obligation and hopefully your ambitions. There's a myriad of online calculators that take the guesswork out of calculating your payroll taxes. These calculators will show you your gross income, how much of it is taxed, and how much is left over, also known as net pay or take-home pay. For the 2020 to 2021 filing season, a $35,000 yearly wage in New York City would net you nearly $27,490 after federal taxes without exemptions, roughly $2,291 per month. Then there are state, and in the case of New York City, city taxes to consider. Similarly, if you're considering changing jobs in search of more pay, you'll need to know how your marginal tax rate will affect your raise. A rise in pay from $35,000 to $41,000 per year, for example, won't provide you an extra $6,000 per year, about $500 per month. It'll only offer you an extra $4,227, about $352 per month. If you're considering a move, keep in mind that the sum will change depending on your state of residency and its prospective tax burden. Lastly, devote some time to learning how to prepare your own taxes. It's not difficult to do unless you have a convoluted financial position, and you won't have to pay a tax specialist to do it for you. Tax software makes the work a lot easier than it was for your parents when they first started out, and it allows you to file electronically. 7. Visit tempting places with no money or credit cards in hand. Most people who struggle with financial self-control realize that there are particular situations in which they are more prone to make poor decisions and spend money on impulse rather than long-term goals. Such places include your favorite coffee shop, the bookstore, the store that sells electronics, and even clothing shops. So what are your areas of weakness? One could believe that simply avoiding those locations is sound advice, but doing so does not promote self-control. It only educates you to avoid certain situations. A much better strategy is to go to those attractive places on occasion, but set a strict limit on how much money you can spend there. You should not bring a credit or debit card with you. Take no cash unless you're heading there to buy a specific thing. In that instance, take only enough cash to purchase that item. The act of doing this, particularly when done repeatedly, teaches you how to go to those locations, be tempted, and resist temptation. Thus, self-control is built on the ability to resist temptation. 8. Protect your wealth. You'll need to take precautions to ensure that all of your hard-earned money does not vanish. Even if you can't afford them all right now, here are some actions to consider. If you rent, buy renter's insurance to cover your belongings in the event of a break-in or a fire. Read the policy carefully to determine what is and is not covered. Disability insurance safeguards your most valuable asset, your capacity to make a living, by ensuring a stable income if you're unable to work for an extended period of time due to illness or injury. If you need help managing your money, look for a fee-only financial planner who will provide you with unbiased advice that is in your best interests, rather than a commission-based financial advisor who makes money when you sign up for their company's investments. The latter may have conflicting loyalties to their company's bottom line and to you, whereas the former has no reason to steer you in the wrong direction. You'll also need to shield your money from taxes, which is simple with a retirement account, and inflation, which you can achieve by ensuring that all of your money is accruing interest. You can invest your money in a variety of ways, including high-interest savings accounts, money market funds, CDs, stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. The first three are relatively risk-free, whereas the subsequent three have a higher risk of financial setbacks, but also a higher risk of monetary gains. Learning how to invest is a crucial skill for increasing your money, and eventually your wealth. 9. Choose your social engagements wisely. People frequently go out on the town or meet up with friends for social gatherings outside of the home that revolves around clubs, restaurants, stores, or other businesses that aggressively encourage spending money. You might go out to dinner with some friends, then to the movies, then to the bar, and before you know it, an evening with friends has depleted your wallet by $100. You may plan to spend the day with some buddies, but it quickly turns into a marathon of shopping and spending money. Keep an eye on those social gatherings. You shouldn't have to pay to spend the time with your buddies. When socializing, try to find other activities to do, either at someone's house or somewhere where spending money isn't a big part of the experience, such as playing soccer at the park or going on a picnic. Some of your friends could object. In that case, it's quite straightforward to determine which members of your social circle are more interested in going out and spending money, and which are more interested in spending time with you. Friendships with people who would rather go out and spend money on a regular basis should be avoided. 10. Don't give up when you take a misstep or two. What's more, guess what? While you're figuring this out, you're bound to make a few spending mistakes. First, you'll make a purchase without even thinking about it. Second, you're about to make a decision that you'll come to regret later. Finally, you'll feel as though nothing is going to work out. First and foremost, don't worry about it. Financial growth, like most other aspects of life, is frequently characterized by taking 2 steps ahead for every 1 step backward. As long as you keep moving forward, you may take a lot of steps backwards. The goal is to improve on your previous performance. Don't beat yourself up if you make a mistake. Instead, consider why you made that mistake, and then work to avoid making it again. Reconsider the circumstances that led to your error, and consider what you may do to avoid it in the future. Above all, never give up on yourself. It'll be a long voyage. There are bound to be some stumbles and setbacks along the way on any long journey. So my parting shots are, remember that you don't need a fancy degree or a unique experience to become an expert in financial management. If you follow these 10 financial rules and recommendations in your daily life, you can be as financially successful as someone who has a hard-earned MBA in finance. Well, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope you've enjoyed and found value while watching it. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here, welcome and subscribe for more content like this. That said, have a good day, and I'll see you all in the next one.